I'm Paula, and I think that Thomas Muller had a better career than Neymar. But before we get to that, let's see how the video is going to work.
All 4 members of Box to Box have handed in one crazy opinion that they must defend with all their will. Once said, every contestant will have the chance to run up to the chair to debate the Box to Box member when the countdown ends. Each person will have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to debate why they think that opinion is crazy. However, if the rest of the group thinks that the contestant is losing the debate, they will raise their flag signaling that they want them off of the chair. If 4 of the 6 voters raise their flags, they will be kicked off of the debate chair. If they get through the whole timer, then the person who gets the most votes will win that debate. And at the end, we will see which Box to Box member can defend their outlandish claim the best.
You guys heard it in the intro. I think that Thomas Muller had a better career than Neymar. 2 minutes and a half on the timer. The seat's open. Hit him.
3, 2, 1.
I'm kind of disappointed in you guys that no one ran quicker than me.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Why do you disagree with my statement?
All right, so 50 years from now, I will be seeing kids wearing Neymar jerseys or packing Neymar in FIFA, or Neymar will still be culturally relevant. Thomas Muller will just be deep dusted into some regular Bayern Bundesliga titles that every single Bayern legend has.
So what you're saying is we can't respect players purely based on jersey sales or what kids are going to be wearing in 50 years. I was wearing Hypervenoms. I was wearing the Neymar Hypervenoms when I was young. That has nothing to do with the careers that the players had. Thomas Muller, better legacy, better trophy cabinet, overall just a better player. Never disputes with management.
Okay.
I can go on forever.
So Thomas Muller has the team achievements on Neymar, which you could argue is not that much of an advantage, but whatever, that's okay. Also, by the way, Neymar showed up to Europe at what, 21 years old, 22 years old, when he had already won everything in Brazil, everything possible, by the way. But we as European watchers, don't really credit that, but I'm sure South American viewers will say that's an actual achievement. Individual awards, though, it's not even close. Let's not cap it.
Name me some of Neymar's individual awards.
Neymar made the top 3 of Ballon d'Or twice in his career.
Okay.
Thomas Muller, where do you think was his best positioning ever?
5th.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of mid. I'm not going to cap.
So
and that's when he won the World Cup. He won the World Cup and finished 5th.
Okay, so who was a better player, Dybala or Lautaro Martinez?
Can we vote him red flag or
okay,
no?
but you're losing the debate right now because
Dybala is a severely better player than Lautaro Martinez.
Okay. Ballon d'Or ranking should not be an indication of careers. I'm talking about legacy here. Thomas Muller individually, because you brought up individually, right? Neymar.
World 11. How many did Thomas Muller make? 0.
Okay.
Neymar 2.
Okay.
Or actually multiple. He might have made more than 2.
How many World Cups? Like I can bring up team achievements, and I can also bring up Thomas Muller had 10 seasons.
So now take Thomas Muller.
Can I make a singular point?
Go. Sorry.
Thomas Muller has 10 seasons over 30 GA. He's put up 42 goals and assist contributions in 49 games in a season. The guy has had a spectacular individual career at the top level of football.
There's levels, though.
There's levels.
You put Thomas Muller in Manchester United, are we even having this conversation over the last decade? Is he just a product of Bayern Munich success, or is he a product of his own individual success?
He's the main contributor to
Bayern's
success.
He was just a piece on the chess table. Neymar was the queen on the chess table.
I'm gonna save some debate points.
He was just a pawn.
Okay, we got 3 seconds. We can't make many points, but listen, Neymar is more talented, playing ability. That was never the point. So that was the first debate. Now the boys are gonna be voting. Give them a countdown.
In 3, 2, 1.
Logic prevails. Thomas Muller, that bum, is getting nowhere near my GOAT.
I won that debate.
Oh yeah, you won that debate.
Millie, what do they say when you're mocking them? You know
you lost.
That's the Firms FC classic.
Works like a charm.
That was the first one. The chair is open for debate number 2 of 3.
In 3, 2, 1.
No. You'll get the third one, don't worry. I'm stuck though.
Firms really wanted that one.
Yeah.
2 minutes and a half. Good luck. Before we begin, Firms, I just want to say to everyone watching that your favorite player of all time is Neymar.
He's up there. He's top 3 for sure.
You said before we started that he's your favorite player of all time.
Ibra, Messi. Anyways, you're wasting time. What is your definition of legacy?
What you've left footballing-wise behind.
So for you, are you putting a lot of emphasis on trophies?
I put a fair amount on trophies, but I also put other factors. Like, Muller's never had disputes with multiple of his different clubs. He's never forced transfers. He's
Right.
never left training sessions because he wanted to force a transfer to PSG for a record amount.
Neymar.
He's never
Since
left.
when has Neymar?
Neymar did that at Barcelona.
Neymar at Barcelona was.
People seem to forget that he left the training session because he wanted to force that expensive move to PSG.
But wouldn't you say that Neymar going to PSG is actually challenging in a different league, whereas Müller has stayed in the Bundesliga for his entire career?
Okay, I think he left purely for the money. You can argue either or, but that's not really the argument here. I think he proved that he follows money by moving out of Europe and going to the Saudi league. I think that's another reason showing that this guy only ever cared about money.
But if you look at even his international stint, Neymar is the top scorer for Brazil all time.
And what does he achieve with that? A gold medal at
Well,
a gold medal. And
We're
that's
acting
it.
like he had this invincible Brazilian team. He was the main man on a very shit Brazilian team.
A very shit Brazilian team.
Bro, compared to that Germany team,
It was better. I'd say it was better.
as soon as
Germany
he got
team.
injured, he lost 7-1. Brazil lost 7-1 in that 2014 World Cup.
So talking internationally, Thomas Muller has a World Cup, which he substantially helped.
But
the
a World
team
Cup
get
is
to
a
that
team
World Cup.
achievement. Like to me,
A player can contribute. So Neymar can carry a team, and we can give him credit for that. But we can't give Muller credit for helping Germany win.
but
That's double standard.
Thomas Muller was never the main man for Germany.
Who was the main man and when he was winning
For
the World
Germany,
Cup?
Klose was a top scorer at that time.
Well, Thomas Muller actually got the Golden Boot in the World Cup in 2010.
Yeah, well, Neymar was the main guy in 2014. So, I mean, internationally speaking,
Internationally, Thomas Muller retires with a better legacy as well. For club, it's the same situation.
no, he doesn't, because
he does.
that's because you're putting importance on trophies. But if we're looking ahead of trophies, brother, Neymar is a better player technically, and he has impacted.
I've never disagreed with that statement. I agree that Neymar is a better player than Muller on the pitch. No kid wants to become Muller. That's not the debate
But
here.
exactly, then
We're
why?
talking about footballing careers.
So when Muller retires, no kid wants to even look at Muller for his footballing legacy.
Bro, does anyone want to be Van Dijk? There's a little kid in the street say, I want to be Van Dijk.
No.
Varvar's shaking his head. That was the second debate. Many more stats being thrown around there. Boys, what do we think about it?
In 3, 2, 1.
That was a good one, though. Good job, Ferbs.
You just brush over the fact that he's Brazil's top ever goal scorer.
Brother, I said it. I literally said it.
Yeah, but you have to emphasize that Brazil team was garbage.
Bro,
he didn't do
players- I
enough.
also did say that.
They didn't do enough.
You realize,
Pound
like,
on.
Thomas Muller's competition for Germany's top ever goal scorer is like fucking.
Bro, he's not even the biggest Muller.
Varvar,
come back.
He's not even the
Come
biggest
back
Muller
here.
for
Closer.
Germany.
Come back.
Bro, Neymar's competing against Brazil.
Closer
Like
to
in
the
Brazil,
all-time-
Garincha, Pele.
Isn't Closely the
Mike,
all-time goal scorer for the World Cup? Like, he scored the
World
most goals
Cup,
in the
yeah,
World
but
Cup's
not
history.
Yeah, but not anywhere near Neymar's amount of goals. Like,
Bro, Gerd
total.
Muller probably has more goals than Neymar for Brazil.
Oh
Yeah?
my goodness.
Yes.
We're talking
Okay,
about
we
him,
are-
bro. They were
like,
playing.
we already
four-
lost another debate already.
You don't think that Gerd Muller has more goals for Germany than Neymar has for
No.
Brazil?
There's a lot more games
No.
nowadays than before.
Yeah, true. The World Cup was small.
I think that's a very wrong fact.
Fact check it right now.
This is my third and final debate. The seat's open, kind of down.
In 3, 2, 1.
You're
I
lucky,
low-key could
Paula.
have gone again.
You're lucky, Paula.
Could have steamrolled a Chelsea fan.
You're lucky,
But listen, I
Paula.
have respect for the Juve fans, so. All right, what's your point?
Okay, so I think in a world without Messi or Ronaldo, Neymar's the next guy. Neymar's that guy. He would have won multiple Ballon d'Ors by now, and in like let's say 30 years from now, nobody's gonna remember Müller. Realistically, I don't think anybody's remembering him.
Okay, that was said.
Yeah, but everyone's remembering this guy for generations.
For sure, I don't disagree.
He's probably one of the most natural, like skillful talents to ever play
agree.
the game.
I agree. Ared Tarabt, Dimitri Payet, all players that will not be forgotten and were more
They're not
talented.
even close, though.
Might even be more talented than Thomas Muller. These players as well. That was never my point. Career-wise, Thomas Muller will retire better than Neymar.
Okay,
And it's based. Sorry to interrupt, but it's based on his choices. It's based on Neymar's choices. He was never the first into training, last out type of guy like Cristiano Ronaldo was. He never had the work ethic. He fell into the same trap that many Brazilians fall into, like Ronaldinho. This is just the problem with Neymar. It was never his skill. He had enough skill to be on the level of Messi and Ronaldo, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, let me just say, Muller played for one club in probably one of the easiest clubs in top 5. He played for one club, whatever.
He won 2 trebles.
Okay.
That's
And Neymar is Brazil's top scorer, where he's competing versus, he said it before, okay?
But no, you keep stressing.
Yeah, he's-
bro. You're gonna win.
He's competing versus Pele, Ronaldinho, Romario. He's playing versus all the top guys. And who's Muller comparing versus?
Well,
Close,
in Champions League, you talk about the Bundesliga being like an easy league, where I kind of agree that maybe La Liga at the time was more difficult than the Bundesliga. So that's fair. Although Muller and Bayern did dominate for a very long time. Champions League is a good metric, right?
Okay.
I don't think is Neymar in the top 10 of either goals or assists in Champions League history? I'd have to look into it. But all I know is that Thomas Muller is eighth in all time for goals in Champions League history and sixth for assists Champions League all time. I had players like Iniesta, and KDB, and I can go on. So Thomas Muller does have the individual statistics even in the Champions League, which isn't the easy Bundesliga. So the individual stats are there. We got 20 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's cooked.
I've never even heard anybody say this. He's cooked. Okay, just things up.
Typical Juve fan.
Listen, I apologize because I had a couple stats that I had to ring out at the end, and unfortunately you got the butt end of it.
cannot just be saying, I have to check that out. Is Neymar even in the top 10 of goals or assists?
I gotta check that though.
He isn't.
Yes, he is.
He isn't. He isn't.
He's in the top 10 of assists, guaranteed.
He isn't.
Try to remember a big
He isn't because
Muller
Muller's
moment
sixth, and Iniesta, KDB, and like two others that I know for sure are behind them.
Are we gonna stop this timer or what?
Muller's there, yeah. That's
Anyways, any remontada for Muller, or was that just Neymar?
This is another stat. I'm going to throw this in. I think it was the 2013 semifinal versus Barcelona. Muller scores a brace in the first leg and scores in the second leg. Bayern beat Barca 7-0 over 2 legs.
Okay, I would also like
That's
to,
an.
I would like to bring up a stat that I didn't get to bring up in my argument that I kind of forgot. Neymar has more assists than Muller in 200 less games, so I would just like to bring that up.
Played in PSG and Al Hilal.
Okay. Oh, Bayern. Bayern is not a
now all of a
super
sudden.
club.
Oh, so Al Hilal Bayern is the same level of difficulty?
Well, I mean,
He had
compared to
3 appearances, bro. What the fuck are we saying?
That actually hurts his legacy.
If I could vote you off, I would have.
I won that third one, so I got 2 wins, 1 loss, and I defend my point. Next up, we got Firms.
This is debate number 2, and I believe that you do not need trophies to have a successful legacy.
in 3, 2, 1.
Am I the only one?
Okay.
Hey, Biagio.
Hello, Firms. I'm Biagio. Forza Lazio sempre.
I don't know about that.
Well, I disagree with your statement because a lot of the times, well, just like at the debate that they had,
Similar debate.
we do bring trophies into the equation. And I
Okay.
mean, the whole point of the sport is to win trophies. We're not just playing for fun. At that point, we just go play at the park, right?
Yeah, but that shouldn't affect your legacy completely, because I believe that what makes a player great is technical ability, its consistency, its big moments, and I don't think trophies is just the icing on the cake. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, but the big moments translate into those trophies.
Not necessarily.
Well,
You could save your team from relegation, and that's a big moment.
Yeah,
Mbappe.
but a lot of people that get saved the team from relegation are remembered. Let's be real. Like no one's remembering Lecce.
All right. Well,
that guy that
Mbappe
scored a penalty.
Mbappe scored a hat trick in a World Cup final. Is that not a big moment?
Yeah, but but he was like close off, and he still won a technically not a trophy, but like an individual award.
But that's a legacy. Even though he didn't come out with the World Cup trophy, which is obviously a trophy, he still has a legacy where he had this big moment. He is this player that could do technical ability, consistency.
That's a fair point, but I'm still gonna disagree because I got a guy like let's go like more time football, but Scott McTominay. This guy like obviously wasn't really that well known. Obviously rotting at Manchester United, and now he definitely has a legacy because he did so well and he carried Napoli to that Scudetto.
But we all know that McTominay is not a player of a caliber of an all-timer. His legacy is just purely because of that trophy.
But it's the role he played in that trophy, because we're not going to talk about I forgot his name, one of the fullbacks there. He's like a Napolitan guy. I forgot his name. Mazzocchi. Okay. That guy had no contribution. That guy's like as useful as Pinsoglio was at Juventus.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But Napoli did win a trophy. So
yeah, but it's the way he put the team on his back for that, because he's a midfielder too. He's not, and yet he's scoring all these goals in the big moments, and it led to a trophy.
But McTominay had a good season. Regardless if he finished with a trophy or not, I would still say McTominay had a great season. So I think that doesn't tarnish his legacy. Just because
the trophy is what makes him remembered, because he's going to be on that list.
Icing on the cake. That's what I said.
No, but that's what makes you remembered. Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
tie.
Low key, the McTominay point was good.
The McTominay point was very good.
I My original stance is actually probably Firms's. But that McTominay point was a good point. Like,
I agree. He wouldn't have been remembered like that unless you saw him lifting that Scudetto. That's what made it amazing.
that was like the second coming of Maradona in Serie A, no?
Bro, they got a mural of him already in Napoli.
That's why, if he didn't win the Scudetto, you don't get a mural, you don't get that type of treatment.
Wait, I have a question. McTominay or Hamšík? Who's the bigger club legend?
Not even a debate.
Yeah?
I just want to say, like, Immobile in 2019,
That's what I was
2020,
gonna
not to
ask.
be biased, he was probably one of the best strikers, but no one's going to remember him because he didn't win anything.
But exactly, does that make like?
Does that make his legacy not worth it?
Well, it
No, it
hurts
sucks,
it.
but you need that trophy. He got the golden boot.
You
though.
don't,
He got the
because
golden boot.
you could everybody could appreciate Immobile's career at Lazio.
I can.
Well, you can.
I can.
That's a VAR FC problem. But everybody else in Italy knows that Ciro
until
Immobile.
it comes time to play for the Italian national team, and then you'll see Firms FC yelling on his couch what is Immobile doing on the
Ciro
team.
Immobile for Italy was garbage, though.
Yeah, well, I can agree.
So
on
it's
that.
not about trophies. He won a Euro and he was garbage.
Yeah.
So. Oh my God. Now that was the first debate. Let's see for debate number 2.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'll let him go.
What's up, bro? How's it going, Firms? Not bad. So why don't you think that? Why do you think trophies are a mandatory thing for a guy's legacy?
I think it just adds something that you cannot get through personal achievements or anything else. It inspires fan bases no matter where you go. If you win a trophy, it inspires the fans of that club.
But exactly, the fact that you could have an emotional impact on a fan base even without a trophy.
Sure, but the trophies separate that. If you look at the greats, like that's always been what they've been rated. That's always been what they've been rated.
So if Messi didn't win that World Cup, you don't believe that he would have been an all-timer?
He would have still been an all-timer, but it separated him as the GOAT. If he didn't have that World Cup, you would hear it. You would
even
hear
with
Pele,
the stats that he showed.
Yeah, you would hear much more arguments for Pele, Maradona, who managed to win those trophies. But now that Messi did it, it's like in totality, you could see that separates.
But it's the icing on the cake. I've said this before. I think that just doesn't. You can't tarnish the entire Messi legacy because he didn't have that World Cup.
For me, I was always a Ronaldo fanboy growing up. I only admitted that Messi was the GOAT once he got that World Cup. Before that, that was a real separating factor for me.
But in your opinion, then technical ability, consistency, those are not factors to make a person great?
Those do matter, but let me give you an example. For if you take Harry Kane versus Aguero. Legacy-wise, I would say Aguero is a better legacy. I don't know if he's the better player.
I disagree.
I don't know if he's the better player.
He's not the better player. He doesn't have the better legacy.
He has a better legacy. He has the moments. He has more trophies.
Not the moments. I mean,
he does have the moment. What do you mean he doesn't have the moments? He has the biggest moment in PL history.
So R9 never won the Champions League. Is that going to tarnish his legacy because he's never won the Champions League?
He won a World Cup. If he won nothing, then he would just have been what could have been.
But
he would have
in
been
my
a crazy
opinion,
talent what could have been. But he won the World Cup. He was a huge part of that World Cup. That's a big part of his legacy.
But that's not because of the World Cup trophy. It's because he was the top scorer at that 2002 World Cup.
And he carried his team to the trophy.
Whether he won that trophy or not, he would have still been the best player at that World Cup.
He doesn't go down in history the same way without that World Cup.
Yes, he does.
No, he
He
doesn't.
still wins
if you retire, young after injuries, after having an injury-ridden career, you don't win a Champions League, you don't win a World Cup, you're not going to be regarded as the best striker
So
of
in
all
your
time.
opinion, who's the best player this year?
The best player this year was probably Dembele or Yamal. They both had trophies.
3, 2, 1.
God damn.
That's good.
Good shit.
I didn't like your saying about that just because of the World Cup now Messi's the GOAT.
I love that. I love that one.
Sure. Like now that I'm older, like I could honestly say, like I go back and watch the tapes and I say, like Messi was always clear. But for I was more of a casual, like.
Yeah, Joe, that definitely changed it. That killed the CR7. They all stopped after that.
I still, even in my opinion, before the World Cup.
Oh, I agree.
Unless your name is Kashish, it almost killed the argument. You rarely see anyone argue.
But then Cristiano Ronaldo's legacy is tarnished because Messi won that
No.
If anything, it was elevated.
It's something that Ronaldo doesn't have. I put Ronaldo below Maradona, Pele.
But I would have put him below Messi even without that World Cup.
He's Portuguese.
I'm Portuguese too. I'm Portuguese.
Yeah, but would you agree?
For the history of the internet.
Would you agree that Ronaldo's legacy was elevated because of that Euros?
Yes.
And that Euros was won before Messi won a World Cup.
For sure. After that Euros and after the 3-peat Champions League, those trophies made me declare Ronaldo's the GOAT guaranteed. especially the bicycle kick too. But then
Big moment.
things happen. Messi won another big trophy.
Yeah, it was also a
and
Champions
then
League winner, Ballon d'Or
things
winner.
flipped again
Yeah,
because
but
of trophies.
it's a big moment. Like
me,
you're looking at the moment. You're not looking at the trophy solely.
Yeah, I know, but you're expecting the best players in the world to create the best moments in the
Bro,
world.
Messi would not be Messi without the trophies he won.
Yeah.
When your
Brother,
abilities,
91 goals in a year is very
Yes,
important.
but 91 goals in a year is 99% chance going to lead to trophies.
Yes.
Now on to debate number 3. Third contestant, please come up.
In 3, 2, 1.
Made me ran there. Made me ran there.
Hello, Shimmy.
Rage bait run.
You got at the O-line position.
Yeah, I know. I was ready to hit him. Firms, pleasure to be here. Well, listen, let's start off. What do you define as legacy here?
I said that legacy is a mixture of technical ability. It's a mixture of consistency. And I think big moments are a very big aspect to how great you are.
All right, so then do you create tiers of legacies? How do you base a legacy that you brought up, Ronaldo, who obviously had a World Cup and whatever, but let's say for Harry Kane, for example, does his legacy is it on the same level as someone, let's say like a Santi Cazorla that brought up a relegation team? Like, how do you grade these legacies?
I still think that Harry Kane is one of our generation's best strikers.
Okay.
So whether he won that trophy or not, now he did win it with Bayern Munich. I still consider him part of that Suarez, that Ibra, that Lewandowski. That's the goals show it, the technical ability. He was consistent for Spurs. And obviously now he's got the trophy, which is the icing on the cake.
All right, so I just want to make sure that you're not confusing legacy with cult hero.
No.
Because cult hero is someone that, let's say, didn't necessarily win trophies for his club or didn't necessarily put himself in a position to win Champions Leagues or whatnot, but he stayed out of, let's say, a smaller club and was able to kind of create a name for himself. But that's not a legacy, in my opinion.
You can have a legacy without trophies if you were top of your class in ability, in consistency. And Ibra never won a Champions League.
But he won Serie A. He won multiple Ligue 1s. He was in positions to win trophies, which elevated him.
But I'm not talking about these players. All these players won trophies. But
Yes.
I'm saying their career would have still been successful whether they won that trophy or not.
But then that's why you're not gauged. Like, then what's successful? Because as a football player, I would assume they're thinking that success is winning trophies.
No.
Because you cannot tell me that a player.
Ibra is still he is the most unique striker I've ever seen. And everybody could agree that as a prototype of a striker, he's up there as one of the best ever.
Firms, the only
Whether he
players-
won that Champions League or not, he would have still been up there.
No, because that's all hypothetical. Because you know that yes, he didn't win Champions Leagues, but he literally needed to be the best in his position.
He has the big moments
In order to get to that level. But on that journey, he ends up winning 3-4 Serie A. I think 5 Serie A.
That's the icing
4,
on the
5.
cake.
That's not icing on the cake.
Whether he
That's
won
just
that
proof
Serie
that
A-
he was at that level.
Whether
because
he won that
was
Serie
in
A
that
or not.
position.
No, because
Yes.
No, brother.
Firms, you cannot tell me there's a top 3 player out there in the world
Top
that
team.
is on a team that did not win trophies. He won Coppa Italia with Roma and a Scudetto.
Are you
what are we talking about
Are you
here?
gonna stain Totti's legacy because he has no big trophies like a Champions League or a Ballon d'Or?
No. Okay, well, we're not going to continue the topic.
Bro, you know what you made me think of? Di Natale when you're talking
Another
about
one,
you could
yeah.
be a cult hero without the trophies. Di Natale.
But that's a cult hero. That's not that legend status that we're trying to achieve here.
Just a quick little fact check. Remember, you said Zlatan has like 5 Serie A's, brother, he has 2.
But it's still a trophy.
Still regarded
What do you
as
mean?
one of
He
the
won
best.
3 with Inter.
But,
He won 2 or 3 with
okay,
Inter,
let's-
2 with
let's-
Milan.
let's
He's at
vote.
5.
He won with Juve too.
And with Juve, he's at 5, brother. I'm
And then he
fact
left and
check
he
you,
went to
bro.
Serie B.
Fact check this guy, bro.
The Isaac meme, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Mbappe, what?
In 3, 2, 1.
Damn.
I just think
My issue attacking Zlatan, like
I didn't attack Zlatan. He brought it up.
Yeah, but Zlatan was not a like. For me, Zlatan is kind of defenseless because he just didn't win one trophy, but he won every other trophy.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
agree.
he is.
But I didn't say that tarnished his legacy.
No, but we're talking
What are
about
you
like
voting for
just
here?
ability-wise, brother.
What are you voting for here? Yeah, I don't know what you guys do. You're voting as if like I said those things. I didn't say those
But
things.
so we can't appreciate Zlatan if he didn't win those trophies.
No, but the thing is
Saying
that
what you're saying.
So, Firms, you're saying a player can make it into, let's say, a top three striker conversation of his generation without winning trophies.
You do not need trophies to.
So
that's false in that
not.
context.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So
because every player that has been brought up has won a major trophy, regardless if it's a league, an international cup, whatever. They had something to back up their level of play.
Let's just use Immobile as example, okay?
But Immobile is not in that stature of
Immobile,
strikers. You don't know that. No, he's not.
Stats-wise, he is.
Was in that stature.
But we all watched Immobile.
Okay, but exactly. Immobile, when he's a Serie A legend, Immobile.
Sure.
He's a Serie A legend. But when all the eyes were on, when everyone was watching,
Doesn't have the big moments.
we know he didn't come up and take his team to that next level to win those trophies. That's why
Consistency, big moments, and ability.
Compared to those same peers that he has those stats.
Stop bringing up Immobile. Immobile is a nobody in this conversation.
You need to talk about that.
We need to understand that legacy, if we're going to be talking about legacy in this context, it needs to be applied to the players that actually deserve to be known for a legacy. Like Immobile, unfortunately, is not a player that I would look for him for a legacy.
Exactly. I completely agree with Immobile.
Yes. So, but the thing is that we're looking at players that are established in their positions as some of the best in the world in history.
Whether the trophies were there or not, those players are still going to be in that position.
But I completely disagree with that.
We're out the window right now.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
sorry.
So for my debate, I end with 2 losses and 1 win. Not the best showing for Firms FC. Let's go on to the next debate.
All right, we are on to the next topic, and the topic that I will be debating is that there should be a salary cap in European football. Let's see who wants to talk about this one.
In 3, 2, 1.
Go get him, Tiger.
Vavar FC.
Okay, so now I would like to preface this with, I took my flags, but whatever. I would like to preface this that you're only saying this because your club is broke, okay?
Well, I'm wearing a Manchester City kit, so I mean I'm talking about European football.
Okay, well, whatever. I'll just preface that.
Yeah.
So basically, it sounds great in idea, but who's gonna follow the salary cap? Every team in world football.
I'm basically talking about European football more in general, because I do think that if it's all over world football, it would be much more difficult and wouldn't be feasible. But European football is definitely more feasible because we've done FFP, because there's already regulations that are already in place to govern all European teams, not necessarily just the federations.
Okay, so now where would the wage be around? Like Real Madrid level, or like Inter level, or like Brentford level? Like where's the wage cap that you would give?
I'm not an economist. I'm not someone that would understand how, like,
bro,
what
if you
the
put it at Real
actual
Madrid
number
level,
is.
you're gonna get the same exact thing that
Exactly,
you're at now.
I agree. However, I do think that we have to put it at a level that makes it competitive, but not crippling to Real Madrid, to Man City, to PSG.
But why would the Premier League team sign up to this salary cap?
Well, that's not necessarily something that. Do they agree to FFP? Is that something? Yeah, they had to agree to FFP.
But FFP,
because that's the English FA.
But the English teams sustainably spend their money. They make the money that they spend. So it's not like they're going into extreme amount of debt to spend, or there is money for the amount they spend. My question is, let's say you get magically all of Europe to somehow agree to this.
Okay.
Why wouldn't an Mbappe then go to Saudi and make $1 billion a year?
Well, listen, that's not something that I would honestly, if Saudi teams want to be playing in Champions League, in European football clubs, they're playing in the Club World Cup right now, I would honestly put them in those same regulations.
If Europe were to put it in a salary cap, Saudi wouldn't want to join Europe. Because
then that's something that they have to be okay with.
Mbappe's going to join, Vinny's going to join, all the top players who deserve to make top dollar, they're getting, let's say, 100 million of salary, but they're generating the club 200 million a year.
So now I'm going to ask you, does Mbappe want to be playing in a league that nobody's watching? Does Vinny want to play in a league that nobody's watching?
If Mbappe's playing, people will be watching.
Okay, and that's what they said about Ronaldo going to Al Nassr, right? People would be watching, and now they're averaging,
We're
4,000 people in the stadium?
We're going to get to that. It's more than that.
Okay, yeah, it's bigger than that. But literally one of the biggest players of our generation can't bring in more than 10,000 people in the stadium. Okay,
I'm just saying you're restricting the European leagues will fail because of that.
Okay, got it.
3, 2, 1.
Robert, you had him in the first half.
I don't know what I did to lose him, but sure.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
You didn't debate me on anything that I mentioned. You just asked me questions.
Yeah, because I genuinely don't know what the fuck a salary cap would be positive for football.
it just would negatively affect your club. That's why you're biased towards it.
But it's because you guys are broke. That's the only reason you want the salary cap involved.
Okay,
So,
well, we
so,
just-
so
like,
when you're
it's
ready
still- we're gonna have two more
when you're ready to
debates,
debate about something other than bro, you're broke, then we'll
But
have
you
a
are.
conversation.
Like, like I'm not
No, he's
debating.
right.
Bro,
No,
you're broke.
You're
bro.
just saying like basically.
Get
no,
your money up,
it's
bro.
okay.
Get your money up, kid. Like that's not a debate topic.
So,
Barbara.
okay, so why should Juve be able to spend more than Lecce?
Why? Well, because
We're bigger clubs than
get
you
your
guys.
get your
so
money up, Lecce. Bro, no, I'm not gonna say that.
That's what you literally say on the podcast, I think, every single week. But
No,
yeah,
I don't.
Sure.
I don't.
I got Varva on that one, but there are still 2 more rounds for this debate. Let's see who wants to come up.
In 3, 2, 1.
The Lazio fan coming up to talk to me about a wage.
Talking about broke.
Walking about salary, my goodness.
I can't believe I'm going to defend Varvar in this one, but I'm starting off by saying my club is also in debt, so I'm going to disagree. My point might be a bit off topic, but I think salary cap won't really help anyone. The clubs like Lecce, they just can't compete versus, let's say, for example, in the NFL. I'm going off topic, but a team like the Cleveland Browns are one of the worst teams in the league, but yet can compete financially, right? That's because of the salary cap. But the thing is, it's a 32 league.
Closed league.
Like it's a closed league.
Yeah.
Europe or even the world in general is way too vast to have a salary cap. Like, as much as I want to agree with you, it just doesn't make sense at all.
I do think. Well, I'll let you finish your point if you have anything.
No, that's it.
Yeah, I do think that it needs to be proportionate. I do think that obviously we bring up the minorities, like we bring up the Lecces, we bring up all those smaller clubs that obviously financially cannot compete. And I do think that bringing up the NFL is unfair because those teams are much more closer financially than, let's say, a Lecce to a Juventus, or let's say to a Southampton to a thing.
Soccer is too big of a sport to do this.
But then why does financial fair play come into play? Like why do we put in regulations for every team in a professional European league, but then all of a sudden, as soon as we mention that maybe we should put a cap on how much teams that PSG, Real Madrid, Manchester City spend, all of a sudden, but now the small teams can't compete. We're trying to keep it more competitive because, listen, we are Serie A dons. We've seen the repercussions of not having a Serie A cap.
The economy is bad.
Brother, 5-0 in the Champions League final is just what is the wake-up call. Is the wake-up call. PSG versus Inter was a wake-up call that there needs to be change.
But I still don't think, like, even the FFP, I think that's just, it's like for bigger clubs, it's a slap on the wrist. Like, Manchester City will never get fined the way Everton will, because if Manchester City would go down to the championship, like, they would lose all kinds of money. It's more like a money grab. So for the FFP, the argument, I think no one actually enforces it because the big clubs never really get.
I do think that if they're found legal, if they're found guilty, then they should be demoted. Like I do think that there should be repercussions.
How many charges does Manchester City get? Are they
112, 114?
Yeah, but have they been enforced? Well, Everton's been getting sucked to the ringer, and like they're.
Yeah, because they have the financial power. Because now that you see a team like Manchester City have the financial power, we need to try to limit that.
3, 2, 1.
I actually like the Everton point. That was a good one.
All right,
Tie.
I'll
take that.
Fair. That actually is very fair.
Yeah, that's a fair debate.
You brought up a point I wanted to bring up. If I go up.
Which one?
Okay, so
Okay, we're keeping it in the vault.
I was thinking about it. I can't lie.
Tied on that one, so looks like the third debate will decide if I win on this topic. Let's see it.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, Barber's so funny. Barber's so funny, bro.
Bro, kick this guy out of here, bro. That was the cringiest.
Insane work. MVB, nice to see you, brother. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I have 2 main points I wanted to touch on here.
Yeah.
One of them, Biagio mentioned. So the FFP, and in the Premier League, we have now PSR.
Yeah.
These were kind of things that were introduced to sort of make it more parity, like more fair play. And this year, the club with the most reckless spending, Chelsea, have the best PSR situation in the Premier League because they did some financial maneuvers.
Yeah, of course.
That ended up with them being the most healthy club. Even though they've spent super recklessly, taken on debt, bought 1 million players. So these rules, when you're dealing with so much money and such big institutions, people still find ways to go around them.
Well, yeah, of course, that's always going to happen, but I'd rather have those safeguards in place than completely have a free open market that anyone can just do whatever they want, because we've already seen teams kind of get away. The Premier League teams have kind of moved past the other top 4 leagues. We've seen PSG kind of move past a lot of big clubs in the world. Like, we're starting to see this major gap growing. And listen, I'm gonna bring up Champions League again, but we've seen it, and I've personally firsthand seen what a financial gap could do. And for me personally, I cannot see a better future for the sport if we let this type of spending happen.
I don't know, because this year, Inter, how much was their wage budget compared to the other giants in Europe? Chelsea's was probably better. You guys had a much more solid.
We had a
team.
smaller budget.
Sure, but yeah, exactly, and you still made a Champions League final, whereas Chelsea would not have made anywhere near the Champions League final, spending a bunch more money.
Yeah, but that's because we were working smarter. And we had to inevitably work harder because we had those restrictions in place. So imagine a league that has a lot of teams on the same level, and they have to work smarter and not just throw money at the problem like Chelsea.
You don't have to imagine a league. There's the MLS. We have a hometown team in the MLS, Montreal.
Yeah.
There's a salary cap.
There's
no parity because Montreal, who's a broke club, their owners don't invest in the team, are garbage because they don't spend money on players. The teams, LAFC, that have money, the Miami that have money, they spend, and they're still way better than the teams that don't spend. So even with the salary cap there, if you're not going to spend the money.
Yeah, but I do think that the overall competition of the MLS has been better because of something like a salary cap, has been more parity. We're looking at the top versus the complete bottom for that.
3, 2, 1. Clean sweep.
That's CF Montreal point.
Yeah, CF Montreal point. We're actually seeing a salary cap in real time.
Yeah.
But again, you're bringing up an individual point in order to generate, like in an overall
the salary cap
topic.
Restricts MLS's ability to go for top
MLS
players.
is an example. It's a good
But that's because you have like. Anyways,
and
you
look
bring up MLS, but I'm talking about, as I said,
And
my
look
debate
how
was
they circumvented
European.
it with Messi.
Exactly.
With the TV rights.
But
deal
my
and
debate
everything.
was European. Was European football that's already established.
That's an example to show you how they can circumvent it.
I know, but you could also say that the MLS is 25 years old. Or whatever. It's very young. We're talking about established clubs. Real Madrid,
what
Man
changes
City,
with the
PSG.
circumventing?
Because those teams already have the stature. But Real Madrid doesn't lose.
This is why I brought it in at the end, so I didn't give you a chance to answer.
Real Madrid doesn't lose 15 CLs because there's a salary cap.
But
No, they're still
those
a
established
prosperous
clubs will
club.
fall off eventually because of the
No,
salary
they
cap.
won't.
CLs,
Because
let's
everyone's
say-
fighting with the same
How could
parameters.
you maintain an Mbappe in your team?
Because everyone's fighting with the same parameters.
Like, there's not really an MLS established club. Maybe
Like, come on, we're bringing up CF Montreal. No one knows them unless
Bro,
you speak
when you
French.
when you talk about economics, you look at smaller nations to see if communism works in this type of
No,
format.
that's
like you,
stupid. That I don't
That's
agree.
the only way you have.
I'm not speaking
Okay,
about
I
communism.
just said communism as an economic example, but
No, I'm not speaking about communism. It doesn't look like I won that debate. Apparently the boys do not think there should be a salary cap, but now it is on to the next topic.
All right, so I'm the final of the 4 box-to-box members to step up to the table and debate everyone. So my topic is the Saudi Pro League will be a top 3 league in the world pretty soon. I would say within 5 years.
3, 2, 1.
don't worry, let me get the chair for you, brother. Barbara, I'll be back.
He stepped on you there too,
I'm
goddamn.
excited, bro. Let's go.
All right, producer T, let's go.
So my name is Producer T. So Saudi will never be a top 3 league, not in 5 years, not ever. And I'll tell you why. They can never maintain
What's this,
the
ChatGPT?
talent there. What ChatGPT? I'm just telling you right now.
Okay, go.
Their top talent that go to Saudi can't stay there for more than 3 to 5 years before they go back to Europe or whatever country they came from. Saudi cannot maintain any talent. The clubs don't have any history. They don't have They don't have a lot of viewership compared to European clubs or even South American clubs, and they won't be able to maintain this unsustainable spending for these years. It won't happen.
Okay, so they will be able to sustain the spending because it's a government that's funded by oil, and it's a whole political thing. Like the spending is all government funded. It's not by private companies. So the amount of money pool that you're talking about here is a lot bigger than the average. It's not some American investor or something that came in, and it's not Roman Abramovich. Like Roman Abramovich, we speak as if he had endless pockets. Brother, we're speaking about someone with endless pockets. Like if they wanted to go buy Mbappe, they could throw him $2 billion and go get Mbappe if they really wanted to.
If they really
so
want.
they have endless pockets. My thing about the Saudi Pro League, though, is that they're not just throwing money at stuff. If you actually look into the background, they're investing in facilities. They're investing in the youth academies all over Saudi Arabia. Countries like Croatia have laid the foundations for small populations can turn into pretty big footballing nations. Like Saudi Arabia could legitimately turn into I'm not saying a top 5 country in the world, but they could turn into a perennial World Cup
And you're right.
semi-decent team.
They could definitely become a decent team. But in 5 years, they will not make nowhere near that much progress as compared to a nation that's been doing it for a long time. Croatia didn't become a crazy nation in just 5 years. It took them many, many years to be that nation. It took generations of talented players to be on the world stage.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, maybe one year they might do it. But in 5 years, they won't be able to be a top 3 league. And mind you, let me just continue on to the other players, these talents that they have. They go to Saudi Arabia. John Durant, for example, stay there for less than a year, and he wants to go to Turkey. Turkey has a higher chance of being a top 3 league than Saudi Arabia.
That's very stupid. But oh my god, the time ran now.
Go,
right.
Producer T, go.
This guy spoke the whole fucking time.
Go. Lisan Al Gaib.
I was looking at it
right before the time.
That's my goat.
I was looking at it. I'm like,
Bro, that was good.
we have 20 seconds left. I'll let him finish his point. The point took the whole 20 seconds.
As per, he learns from the best.
That's a good point, bro.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Producer T.
Wasn't it? Oh, you switched it?
Damn. Yeah.
There we go. Clean sweep for producer T.
No, that's not anymore. You use dirty tactics of just speaking for the whole
That's how he moves above red seats. Dirty tactics.
Bro,
Still loses.
I allowed him his time. He spoke for the last. We're gonna check the tapes. I think the last 45 or 50 seconds.
No. I spoke last 10 seconds.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, make a point. I don't think even we need 2 more debates, bro.
So I'm now down 1-0. Let's see the second debater come and face me.
3, 2, 1.
All right, Paolo.
Varvar, listen, what do you love to talk about? The downfall of Serie A. Okay, now what 2 major factors contributed to the downturn of Serie A? Lack of youth production and the downturn of Italy, the downturn of the economy of Italy. Okay, so in the last debate, you were talking about the Saudi government. Shit, I'm out of breath. So you're talking about the downturn.
You ran a meter.
Pal FC, we are not stamina related. So the economy of Saudi. If anything, the Saudi government is way more involved in the actual footballing of Saudi Pro League versus Italy. And the downturn of Italy's economy greatly affected Serie A. Okay, that's one point. I'll let you get both of them in a second. And the youth development. Unfortunately, the Saudi Pro League will never have youth development of youth in Saudi.
Okay.
That's not a realistic factor. And I'll let you answer to these 2.
Them bringing in a bunch of La Masia coaches and everything will not make Saudi a
But
good
you won't ever have a
country.
Lamine Yamal or Kubarsi because they're
You
not
can't
growing
say
up
that.
there.
That's like saying Croatia would never have a Modric.
Okay,
Like, that's so
you're going to
stupid.
displace families to get 6-year-olds to go. Lamine Yamal.
But
needs placement.
why can't they be good? Because why can't Saudi kids be good at football?
What's the population of Saudi that are actually playing
It's
football?
more than Croatia. It's more than Croatia.
That's probably a false statement.
No, it's not.
You can't just say a false blanket
You're the one who
statement.
said Neymar. That's probably
You
not
can't
in the
say
top 10.
you can't say a false blanket statement. There's more youth signups in Canada than there is
Fact
in
will
Saudi.
be right here.
Okay, put up the fact over there.
Okay.
Canada probably has more youth inscriptions in
Saudi Arabia actually have a very big youth.
Okay, so how is the Saudi
population.
national team doing?
Saudi
versus
national
Croatia
team's
versus
garbage.
Canada. Exactly.
But they haven't had La Masia coaches coaching them for the last 10 to 15 years.
But that doesn't do anything unless you have Lamine Yamal.
What Lamine Yamal became Lamine Yamal how? Because of his coaches or because he was just born in Spain?
Because
No.
if you have 1 million Spanish youth players that grow from 6 years old playing in Barcelona Youth Academy, one of them will become Lamine Yamal.
I agree.
They will never have
Same
that.
thing will happen in Saudi Arabia.
They are trying
But once
to
again,
buy their way
that's
into
not-
success.
I don't know why. Like you spent 2 minutes speaking about this. Like you have to understand Serie A. So what's the good thing about Serie A right now? There's a lot of parity, right? So
No.
there is a lot of parity. There's 6-7 teams at the top that you could
Okay,
say year in year
competition.
out like will make top 4.
Because the top end fell off. That's
yes. Okay, but it's equal. What's the good thing about stuff like Liga or Bundesliga is that they have very high-end talent. Premier League is a mixture of both of these. There's parity and high-end talent. The only league that can somewhat gain that in the future, which is they have 4 teams that are willing to spend a lot of money.
The fundamentals of the Saudi league is off. They don't have the fundamentals.
They will get the top-end talent and have the parity to match it with.
In my opinion, the fundamentals of the league are off. You can't build a foundation. You can't build a house without a foundation.
And they're buying the foundation right now.
You can't buy a foundation.
Okay, you can't buy a foundation.
3, 2, 1.
Oh shit. Grazie. So I can tell these two I'm never gonna sway over because
Varvar said absolutely nothing there. He said nothing.
Yeah, there was a lot of air, but on
He said nothing. You answered none of my points. You
I
just
answered your
restated my
points. I literally said they brought half of La Masia's
Yeah,
coaches over to Saudi Arabia.
What does that do without the youth talent?
Yeah, but
What do you mean the
wasting
youth
La Masia
talent? How do you
players.
become good? You get coached.
yeah, but the thing is that you
See,
didn't.
they can't be good because they're born in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
What's the point?
But a La Masia, you know they start from like age 5 or 6 all the way up to U23. How many years is that?
So how do you build La Masia?
Well, you have to start from
bring
the
the
ground up.
employees of La Masia
Yes,
and then
I
build
know.
a factory just
Yes,
fucking pumping.
I understand, but for a 5-year turnaround, you're relying on La Masia
That's
coaches.
the sustain at the end of the 5 years. They can spend their way to the top within 5 years.
So then you didn't argue the point that there would be a
After
top
the 5 years of
5
just
years.
reckless spending, they will sustain by having all these
Bro,
programs
you can get
built.
the best chefs in the world, but if you have the if you're giving them shit ingredients, they won't be able to make you good food.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What do you? What the fuck is the good point?
Not just a chef.
You give up what you give. You give a fucking regular 4-year-old from Saudi Arabia or Spain. If you give them good coaching, they're gonna be good.
You can't fake 200 years of youth players.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't fake
reminiscent
that.
of the Chinese project, technically.
No, it's not
a lot
because
of
that was funded
investment
by
being
private companies, so that was never gonna be sustained.
Can we just get on camera? Like what? So first, second, third league, because you're saying Saudi Arabia would be a top 3.
It will be Premier League, La Liga, and the Saudi League.
Oh my god. Okay, well, next person that comes up, make sure to
in 5 years
talk about that.
In 5 to 10, I said 5 to 10, but yeah.
No, you said 5. You said 5.
But in 5 to 10 years.
I think this is your worst take ever.
No.
I said that 3 times.
And you lost.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
All right, let's finish this.
All right.
One sentence I need.
Okay.
All right. You know me already?
Yeah.
Timer.
So you need one sentence.
Yeah.
If this is not the coldest sentence I've ever heard in my life, you're gonna lose.
The league will never be a top 3 league because it can't compete in the Champions League. The Champions League is the pinnacle of club. Geographically, it will never be. There's Champions League for all continents. It will never be in the Champions League. It's not possible.
So now,
unless they get invited.
your whole point relies on the idea that FIFA will not sell out. They've sold out their entire history.
I said if they get invited, but that
they'll buy their way in.
Nah, they'll no one's gonna remember Al Nassr.
Bro, you send Gianni Infantino a little $1 billion under the table, you're in Champions League.
No matter how much money you throw, you'll never compete with the aura of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. I'll defend.
Okay, so Man City turned into what overnight? Like they just.
Yeah, but they were in Europe though. Europe is the best. Like there's no amount of things. And to add to producer T's point, look at the Gabri Viega. The guy, he got his money and he's out of there.
Sure.
They might even just use the league to make some money and then dip because it's garbage.
Sure.
Like there's
But
some good players.
How many elite Serie A players did not leave the league within 5 years or 4 years in recent history? Like the last 5 years.
Well, I would say, mostly Italian players stay within the league.
Yeah, okay. So only players that enter because they're the only ones that actually compete at the top level of sport every year. If you're at a Milan, a Juve, all the top players left them.
Respect Leao.
Leao's leaving right now. He's twerking to leave.
Who left Juve exactly?
He's doing, and that isn't.
Well, you just don't have good players.
Leao's is twerking on. He's on TikTok, but my point is like everyone knows like you want to play Champions League, and even if they buy their way in, it doesn't have that same like feeling from when you qualify naturally.
The Saudi Pro League will be buying the top players from Serie A every year. They do it every year. So Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, the Ruben Neveses of the world, the players that actually were pretty good players.
Yeah, but
in
you have to. But the thing is, they have no credibility or anything. You just throw money at it to get to what you want. You know,
players want to watch the best players play the best players. Serie A right now, the product is not the best players versus the best players.
Listen,
Ligue 1, the product is not that unless it's PSG. There's no
but
interest
they
for
just
those
throw money at it.
products.
Like it's a bit vulgar, but like it's like paying for a prostitute. It's like it doesn't. Yeah, you got what you wanted, but it doesn't mean there's like you didn't work for it. You're just throwing at it. You're just throwing money at it. I don't think you can't play Champions League. There's no that you can't compete.
They'll buy their way in. They'll buy their way in.
I don't know if you're gonna keep that in. That was my point. That was like the analogy I
We're
thought. We're
unfiltered here. We don't care.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
What horrible opinions.
You guys want to add anything?
Yeah, Varvar stinks. You fucking suck.
Barbara doesn't know how to debate.
Only one to lost to Barbara.
You really brought it
But
back.
you look, you cooked yourself with the line. Like that was a.
Varvar, no player has went to Saudi. I'm gonna say this: no player yet has went to Saudi being like, oh my god, my career's gonna get better. They're going for the bag, bro.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to all the patrons on the screen. You guys are all the GOATs. Also, let us know down below if you like this type of video. We're down to doing it again, once again. We have we have a lot of opinions on this channel that we can low-key sit at this table and get grilled for. So yeah, let us know if you guys like this type of video, and we'll see you guys next week.
Ciao, everyone.
Ciao.
Peace.